When I think about the way we used to be, when I think about the things it took from me.
First step in getting those bright colors to pop, guys, is making sure that you lay down a base. So we're going to use the LA Pro Girl Concealer to create a eyeshadow base so we can get these bright colors popping. Also, I want to mention that we are using a color that is way lighter than our usual concealer color. We're going to use it so we can get those colors to stand out and stay bold. So I already did my brows off camera, so if you guys want to see how I got that done, make sure after you watch this video, you go ahead and click the link so that you can watch that.
That shade of doubt hanging around that old.
Alright, so we're going to use the Morphe 350 M palette. We're going to use some of these colors here to create some transition shades. So I'm using like a burnt orange color. This is really good to contour the eye shape so that you can get in that cut crease. What we're going to do today is kind of create a cut crease style look that's going to allow us to have some definition in our eyeshadows. So after we basically started a contour with a lighter shade, we're going to take a little bit of a darker shade in and we're going to create a more defined eye look. And then next we're going to use the electric palette from Urban Decay. So this has a lot of neon colors in it, and that's where we're getting the bulk of our look today. So here is that brighter concealer shade I was telling you about earlier. We're going to use that to cut our crease. We're just going to take that and basically cover the entire eyelid space. I like to go a little bit higher than where my lid area or crease begins. So that way, once I close my eye or when I open my eye, you can still see the cut crease or the eyeshadow that we're using for our lid. So we're going to go ahead and use that lime green color that I picked up from the Urban Decay palette. And we're going to pack it onto the lid. So you want to make sure that you're loading the brush up when I say like, taking the brush and rubbing it into the color and then patting it on the back of your hand so that you can keep that color in it. And that's how you can get the bulk of the color out onto your eyelid. So you're just going to go ahead and you're going to pat. Don't blend, just pat. You're patting that color onto the lid space. So make sure that you're using patting motions. Don't rub it or blend it into your eye space, because we want to make sure that we get that color to stand out. We want to keep building on to what we laid down already. And you're just going to continue to do that until you get it up to the shade that you want, like how dark or how bold you want it to be.
When I think about the way we used to be, when I think about the things it took from me, I know that I am so...
Alright, so the same technique that we used on the lime green shade, we're going to use on this pink shade too. We're grabbing that hot pink color from the Urban Decay palette. And just a FYI, guys, you don't have to use the products that I'm using. There are other great products that are out there that you can use in place of this one. So don't go out and, rush and buy something that you don't have to buy. But, by the way, this palette is actually on sale. I think they're getting ready to discontinue it, but I've seen it on sale at, like, Sephora, Macy's, Ulta. So if you do see it, go ahead and grab it now because this is a good time to get it.
Hanging around that old.
So we're placing these two colors directly next to each other, kind of like on top of each other. You want to layer them together. Usually what I do is take the first color that I started with, like as you see me pick up the lime color, and I'm just kind of like marrying the two together. I'm kind of blending them into one another. You want to keep going back and forth until you get it how you want it. I like to make sure everything is pretty, uniform and, cohesive. So you may have to keep doing it over and over again, which you'll see me do here. But as long as you get it to how you want it to look, that's all that matters. so we're going to add in that gorgeous blue that you see here in the corner of the palette. I love this because I feel like it's like an electric blue shade. I don't remember the name of it specifically, but I will put everything down in the description below so that you can see it and you know what colors exactly that I use. But you can see it's super bold, and that base that we're using, or concealer that we're using as a base, that's going to help these colors stand out like they are doing right now.
I'm moving strong, I'm moving on. I'm alright, alright, alright. Might be shaking, but not.
So as you're layering these colors on, keep in mind, like I was saying, you're going to have to keep going back and kind of, you know, covering one with the other just so they can look more you know, smooth versus, you know, that line of demarcation that you're seeing right now. The more that you kind of layer them on top of each other and blend them into each other, they're going to look like one color versus like, you know, a bunch of choppy colors.
Took from me. I know that I am so much better, better. When I look at what I've done, I'm real hard. When I look at what I've won, I've come so far. I know I'm so much better. And baby, you don't belong. When I think about the way we used to be, when I think about the things you took from me, I know that I am so much better, better. When I look at what I've done, I'm real hard. When I look at what I've won, I've come so far.
So I'm digging back into the shade in the Morphe palette just so I can, you know, add back to my crease color and just kind of make that crease stand out a little bit more so that it looks more defined.
When I think about the things you took from me, I know that I am so much better, better. When I look at what I've done, now that we're apart, when I look at what I've won, I've come so far. I know I'm so much better. And baby, you don't belong. I could feel it in my bones. There was something going on. That shade of doubt hanging around that old. 'Cause darling, there is nothing right when all you seem to do is lie. Those days are gone. I'm walking tall while you're alone. When I think about the way we used to be, when I think about the things you took from me, I know that I am so much better, better. When I look at what I've done, now that we're apart, when I look at what I've won, I've come so far. I know I'm so much better. And baby, you don't belong.
Alright, so it's cleanup time. We're using the micellar water from Garnier Fructis and just going into the eye and just picking up some of that eyeshadow that had fell out and just going back in and blending our crease and our colors together a little bit.
Alright, alright, alright. I'm celebrating my liberation.
So I decided to kick this look up a little bit further by using some loose glitter, and I'm going to show you guys how I put that on later.
I'm alright.
Right now is highlighting my brow bone with a skin finish, I believe it's called. This is from MAC, and this is from one of their collections from a couple of years ago, so I don't know if they still sell it, but it's one of my favorites.
So it goes. Tables turn in your own.
Alright, so here comes the fun part. We're using some of that glitter I was telling you guys about earlier. Just going to put it in the cap, and then I'm going to use some glitter primer from e.l.f. I'm using a brush to just kind of like take that glitter primer and put it into the corner of my eye area up into my crease, and I'm basically outlining my crease, and I'm going to stick that glitter right on top of the glue with the other side of this brush once I'm done.
I know I'm so much better. And baby, you don't belong. When I think about the way we used to be, when I
is really pretty, guys. This is from Obsessive Compulsive Cosmetics, and it's one of their duochrome glitters, and that basically means that it shows up like 2 different shades. So it looks pink, but it also looks gold, and I think like it has like a hint of green in it. It's really, really pretty. I don't remember the name of it, but I will definitely link it below in the description bar.
When I think about the things you took from me, I know that I am so much better.
So I'm going to show you guys a really cool trick on how you can get the perfect wing liner or cat eyeliner. I'm not really too big on wing liners, but you know, this is how I get like, you know, just enough line basically. So you're gonna take some tape and you're gonna line the outside of your eye. You're gonna set it at an angle, and then you're gonna take your gel liner or liquid liner or pencil or whatever you want to use, and you're gonna go ahead and just fill out the line, you know, across your lashes, and then again at the corner, like to get that wing. And you're gonna basically just not make a mess, but don't feel bad about making a mess because that tape is covering your skin. So if you do get it outside of the line where you wanted that, you can just peel the tape up and it's going to come right off.
When I think about the way we used to be, when I think about the things you took from me, I know that I am so much better. When I look at what I've done, now that we're apart, when I look at what I've won, I've come so far. I know I'm so much better off, and baby, you don't belong. Your love was cold, heart made of stone, but I'm just fine. I'm gonna shine. I'm alright, alright, alright. I'm celebrating my liberation. I'm moving strong, I'm moving on. I'm alright, alright, alright. Might be shaken but not stirred. Just a lesson that I've learned. And so it goes. Tables turn and you're on.
Alright, so once you finish your liner, you're going to go ahead and peel it right off. And basically you're going to have a nice little cat liner or wing liner. I didn't really want mine too big or too long, so I didn't do too much. But I am going to take my brush and I'm going to just go back in and kind of, you know, make the tips a little bit pointier, just to give that, you know, more defined look. But it's super easy, and I learned this tip a long time ago, and it helped me so much. So right now I'm going to go ahead and put some lashes on. These are just some like regular lashes that I found somewhere, but they're really cheap and they did do the job for this look.
I know that I am so much better, better off. When I look at what I've done, now that we're apart, when I look at what I've won, I've come so far. I know I'm so much better off, and baby, you don't belong.
I'm adding some concealer under my eye just to give me a more clean, more bright look. And then I'm also going to put it down the bridge of my nose, on my forehead, and my chin. And just going to go ahead and blend that out.
When I look at what I've done, now that we're apart, when I look at what I've won, I've come so far. I know I'm so much better off, and baby, you don't belong. I could feel it in my bones. There was something going on, that shade of doubt.
We're just going to wipe that excess powder from under the eyes from setting our eye concealer, or under eye concealer, I'm sorry. And then we're also going to go ahead and powder the entire face, get our contour going, and then we're just going to lock everything in with our dual finish setting powder. We're going to go ahead and add some blush to make this look complete. I'm using a peach blush color. This has like a hint of gold in it, so it kind of looks like a highlighter a little bit, and I love glowy skin, so I want to go ahead and, you know, pack that on. Then I'm going to add my highlighter. This is from Sephora. I bought this a couple years ago. I don't even know if they still sell it, but this is one of my favorites when I first got it. I used to use this like all the time for every single look I used to do. But I'm using this on the cheek, the higher points of my cheeks, and then I'm also going to use it on the bridge of my nose. And then we're just going to go ahead and line our lips. Now we're going to focus back on our eyes and finish those up. I'm using the Marc Jacobs eyeliner in black. Just going to go ahead and put this in my waterline so that it looks like my upper lash line. And it's really uniform, you know. Just kind of bring some more dramatic to the look.
I'm moving strong, I'm moving on. I'm alright. Might be shaken but not stirred. Just a lesson that I've learned, and so it goes.
So I'm using another blue shade from the eyeshadow palette. I'm going to use that underneath my lash line just to bring those colors together, and everything's coming full circle. So we're going to go ahead and put our lipstick on. I am doing a nude lipstick. I just want to keep it kind of simple because my eyes are already really bold. So I didn't want to overpower the look by adding bold lips to a bold eye, which you can do it in some cases, but I didn't want to do it here. So I'm also going to use this eyeshadow. I think it's called Stop, Fast, Slow, Stop, something like that. I'm going to link it below so that you guys get the exact name for it. And it's going to be a really cool color that I'm going to put in my inner corner. It looks really iridescent and purple. It's really pretty, and I also sprayed some all-nighter spray on my brush, and then I use it to pick up that eyeshadow. And here we have our completed look, guys. So we are all bright and colorful with nice bold eyes. If you are not subscribed, you should do it right now. Don't wait any longer. Make sure that you do it. I also have a brow video up that I did before I shot this one, so make sure that you click the link so that you can go see that video, and I'll see you guys next time.